Alright, what's up everyone? I've been thinking about starting this new series on some of the more obscure interactions in PoE, and I figure out what better way to start it off than by showcasing this Nature's Patience character that I've been playing. So Nature's Patience is one of the new keystones added in Delirium League, and as you can see, it grants 2% chance to deal double damage and 1% less damage taken while you're stationary, up to a maximum of 10 of each of those stacks. So you get 20% chance to deal double damage, 10% less damage taken. However, the cost is that you get Grasping Vines, and what that does is it slows your movement speed. So while you're stationary, you're getting slower and slower and slower. Now for this build, I'm actually overcoming that by using the Stampede boots. You can see that they have the modifier, your movement speed is 150% of its base value, which means that your movement speed can never be below 150% of its base value. So that actually completely negates the downside of this notable. However, you also need to be stationary to get the benefits of it. And what better way to survive while stationary than by using Aegis Aurora, which heals you every time you block, or sorry, it replenishes energy shield every time you block. I'm also making use of Skin of the Lords, which with Iron Reflexes. So the idea behind this is that we're stacking a couple of these Stalwart Commander aura effect for Grace, Determination, and Discipline. So Grace gives us flat evasion, which then Iron Reflexes converts that to flat armor. Discipline gives us more armor, or sorry, Determination gives us more armor, and then Discipline gives us flat energy shield. So we have a couple of these on the tree. One more over here. And then you can see that this also gives 100% increased global defenses, which is increasing armor, evasion, and energy shield. So it's perfect for all this flat extra stats that we're getting from our auras. So you can see that I'm running all three of these auras right here to reserve my entire mana pool. And you can see that I have 45-ish thousand armor without using any flasks. None of my flasks are used right now. So with flasks up, it's right around 100,000, which is pretty sweet. I'm also using Glancing Blows, so that doubles our block chance and our spell block chance, but you take 50% of the hits instead of taking 0% of the damage from the hits. And that comes on this Lethal Pride timeless jewel. I'm also using the Blue Nightmare here, which converts any notables in the radius that give elemental resistance are also going to give spell block chance. So spell block is the hardest to cap because you don't get any spell block by default on a shield. So in this spot, this Blue Nightmare actually gives us a ton of spell block. So we're anointing Sanctuary, which gives 12%, which then gets converted into an additional 4% on top of the 3% spell block it's already giving, in addition to the 3% attack block. So that's a ton of block from that notable. We also get some more from here, some more from here. So it's just a really good spot all around for this Blue Nightmare jewel. We're using Zealot's Oath. We're also making use of a Thread of Hope here, just to pick up a couple of these notables. This one's mainly just for the stats. I don't actually need this stun interruption avoidance, because I actually have, I'm channeling. I'm using a incinerate, which is a channeling skill, so I get 40% chance to avoid stun. From there, I get another 40% chance to avoid stun from here. I get the final 20% chance to avoid being stunned from here. And Arcane Swiftness is also granting the full 75% spell damage from having capped block, which makes this notable just like super good for this build. And then I'm using, you can see that I'm both Chaos Inoculation and Pain Attunement, which doesn't normally work because you can't be on low life with Chaos Inoculation, because Chaos Inoculation makes you always have full life. But I'm using Coward's Legacy, which makes you count as low life while you're cursed with vulnerability. And then I'm using Watcher's Eye with unaffected by vulnerability while affected by determination to negate that, in addition to getting some extra spell block from the Discipline mod on here as well, since I'm running both of those auras. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're working with here. Oh, the other thing that's really cool, so this Overlord notable grants Fortify on melee hit with a staff or scepter. So even though I'm a spell build, I'm not attacking normally, but I do have, where is it, Reckoning. And Reckoning triggers an attack every time you block. So I'm actually getting Fortify passively just by blocking stuff. We're also triggering Combustion for the extra minus fire res to ignited enemies. And we're cursing on hit with flammability here as well. And then, yeah, we have our amulet just has some reduced mana reservation so that we can run all of our auras. And then Cerberus Limb gives us a bunch of extra flats, energy shield, evasion, and armor from our shield, which has quite high armor and energy shield values. So that also all gets scaled by this 100% global defenses. So all in all, we have around 6.7, 6.8 thousand, in addition to our roughly 45,000 armor, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you might be wondering why my energy shield has been kind of going up and down like this. I'm actually in the middle of a wave 20 simulacrum, although it looks like my passive abilities have just kind of cleared most of this already. So I can just kind of sit here and tank all of this and don't really have to do much. As you can see, the Aegis Aurora is keeping me really healthy. Another thing I'll talk about, so I'm actually going a non-crit Inquisitor, and the reason I'm doing that is because you get Consecrated Ground while stationary. And again, this is a stationary build because of Nature's Patience. And we also get full ailment immunity from that. And we get just some other nice elemental damage. You know, enemies take increased elemental damage, stuff like that. All in all, the build has around 3 to 4 million DPS on average. With buffs up, it can get to like 5 to 6 million with good gear. So it's pretty decent for how good, you know, how tanky the build is in general. And as you can see, I'm having no trouble surviving here. And this is like an increased crit, double extra fizzes, fizzes cold, fizzes lightning. You know, so it's like you can tank most of the stuff the game will throw at you with this build. That's pretty sweet. So yeah, I just wanted to showcase that. I plan on doing a couple more of these videos. Hopefully, you know, showcasing some of these more obscure interactions that not a lot of people are utilizing right now, because I think there's a lot of stuff that's really cool that you can fit into your build. So yeah, that's pretty much it.